There's no greater feeling than being a fan of a series that ends up getting an absolutely stellar anime adaptation. Just this season alone, we have Frieren, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Shangri-La Frontier being 3 strong projects that really show the understanding of the source material. A lot of the success resides in the ambition from the staff. To elevate source material to greater heights, you not only have to have a good idea of the nature of the story, but a team and a plan to really back up the results. When all requirements are met, you end up getting some of the best episodes of anime this year. In this same season, we also have the debut of Undead Unluck, one of the most anticipated adaptations for this new generation of shonen helmed by David Productions, and more specifically, the team who worked on Fire Force. As anime only, I was very pleased with Fire Force, from the fights to the direction of the show, especially with its color palette, so going into Undead Unluck, I couldn't find a reason to be worried off the bat. At the time of this video, we're 9 episodes in, nearing half the season, and this adaptation has managed to give me so much confidence in the staff to the point where I can raise my expectations to a healthy extent. Understanding the assignment is not something that can always be realized for shonen anime for a plethora of production related reasons, but Undead Unluck has managed to come far ahead of the curve, in which the signs of success can be seen as early as the opening. OPs can accomplish multiple things within the minute and 30-second time frame. It can hype you up, it can spoil you, or it can be extremely unique while still being in tune with the show. Undead Unluck's opening is arguably one of the most creatively directed openings, from its color usage to hidden symbolism and foreshadowing. One of the first things that probably caught your eye wasn't just how they showed Fuko or Andy, but the manga Fuko was holding. For my anime only people, this manga is in reference to Kimi ni Todoke. This is something that you shouldn't forget, as down the line it all comes full circle. If you're able to spot the negator on screen, then I highly suggest not forgetting them. Moving on to the middle of the OP, the shot with Gina is absolutely beautiful and also perfectly foreshadows her negation ability, as well as the encounter come episode 3. Her simply holding the water in a spear-like structure directly ties into her fight with Andy and Fuko, and looking back on it is quite bittersweet. Huge props to animator Naoto Nakamura. As for the crows in the tree, it is reference to a belief in Japan that seeing crows during night means good luck. A quick symbolic nod towards Fuko, and can also be in reference to the fact that the duo fought Gina at night, in which her luck ended up saving Gina through her death. Not to mention the 10 circles around the tree referencing the 10 seats of the Union. The biggest 2 nods in this OP, with one of them being a face we had not seen in the anime yet till last week. Victor is the other side of Andy that has a lot of firepower, as showcased in the recent episodes. He was also teased in episode 1, and if you go back to the moment where Andy took out the card in his head for the first time, you actually do hear a quick snippet of 2 voices overlapping, showing that he's in there. Of course, I won't go any further due to spoilers, but just know it won't be the last time we see him. The second nod is with Andy walking in what seems to be a circle going around him. As said by the staff member who created this scene, it is in reference to the Ouroboros ring. The Ouroboros is an Egyptian symbol that represents eternity and rebirth, both concepts which can be assigned to Andy given he is undead. This is a really creative way to show the eternal nightmare that Andy has had to live, and yet how he keeps moving forward. The rest of the OP is a combination of the classic crew showcase of abilities, with all negators showing off a little bit, yet still leaving some mystique on what specifically some people's negation abilities are, which quite frankly couldn't be done thoroughly enough in an OP anyway. Notably, all the characters are in black and gray, with the red union tie or headwear being the one colorful piece of attire that truly sticks out. Another cool detail I really appreciate the staff taking advantage of is the fact that Andy is in fact undead. Representing his ability doesn't always mean regeneration, and the OP conveys that through the multiple Andy heads rolling and the different colors of blood pouring. The OP proves how much the source material is understood at a first glance and how creatively it has been interpreted. As far as the ending goes, I'm just gonna completely leave that one alone, because the spoilers and content that I can pull from occur more than halfway through the story, but just keep in mind that nobody is spared from tragedy or remembering. Moving into the actual show, a lot of the presentation techniques like the use of contrast, unique lighting, quick shots of a gaze, or close-ups are brought to you by none other than director Yuki Yase. Yase was one of the biggest contributors to Fire Force and has also been with Studio Shaft in the past, harnessing his presentation craft. He has worked on different anime such as Madoka Magic, Mikaku City Actors, and Nisei Monogatari. You can see Yase's style in many moments from the way episode 1 kicks off. What amazed me is how they went about animating the manga Fuko was reading. I'm sure so many people were confused at first, and even I was sitting there dumbfounded about the heights they went to kick off the episode. When we talk about ways to describe Undead Unluck, a few key ideas come to mind. The main one being a tragedy, the second one with a darker or heavier tone of the story, and the third being high-octane action. These 3 concepts can be applied to some of Yase's biggest works, with some having more of a present concept than others, making him the perfect choice of a director. There is a good blend of all these things, as the presentation of one's tragedy is impactful and striking, from all the quick shots and dramatic lighting to the Fire Force style movement replication from Andy's blood burst throughout the fights. Even the sound effects are pretty close, with the blood and the fire still making sure to distinguish itself given the type of matter it is, but also maintaining that satisfying burst sound to highlight the dynamic movement and high speed. Greatly looking forward to certain Uma and Negator fights, as it can get pretty intense amongst the tougher opponents who really pack a punch. Now we must talk about the show's usage of colors to create a matching atmosphere, immersing you in the moment, whether it's under the moonlight fighting Gina or in a bloody red haze from Andy, really helps many moments come off as visually stunning. In a way, it reminds me of director Takuya Igarashi and the way he implements backgrounds and setting the mood within Bungo Stray Dogs. Neither director really missing a beat when it comes to making sure that what is happening on screen is met with an appropriate colored background. In some cases, it even goes beyond and uses some nice black and white contrast as shown within Gina and Andy's backstory. Not to mention, the way the negation abilities have been revealed so far have some absolutely kick-ass editing behind them, and it really gives it a nice cool factor when we actually get the ability name drop. It easily could have been a simple slap on the screen, but instead we get custom edits per negator, so yeah, really good stuff on the staff's part with approaching the reveals. Of course, the last thing you'll have to worry about in this anime is the action. From episode 1, this show has not let up for a moment. From Andy navigating through the buildings to dodging and maneuvering through Gina's unchangeable hands, and now fighting Uma Spoil, there really isn't much to complain about. I like to imagine the show's pacing aids in the stability behind the scenes, so hopefully the staff continues to be ambitious where they can. This adaptation so far is a lot better than what I expected, and sets a pretty nice bar for Kaiju number 8 in Yozakura family to reach. I hope fans can continue to enjoy the anime, and hopefully you were able to agree with something in this video in regards as to why I believe this adaptation is much better than you think. That's pretty much it from me though. As always, thank you for watching, and make sure to leave all your thoughts about Undead Unluck in the comment section down below. Stay warm out there, and I'll catch you all in the next video.